Imagine you are driving your car late at night, far away from the city. You stop on the side of the road to look at the stars. You get out of the car, lean against it, and look up at the sky. You expect to see the normal moon and stars, but instead you see this. What if Earth had a crown? A magnificent, impossible crown of ice and rock, just like Saturn. It's a beautiful thought, right? But this wouldn't just change our sky. It would change everything. Our technology, our climate, our culture, our entire history. So what would it really be like to live on an Earth with rings? With rings, the first and most obvious change is that Earth would become the most beautiful planet in the solar system. Your view of the sky would be completely different. If you lived near the equator, the rings would look like a thin, bright line across the horizon. In cities like London or Tokyo, they would be a giant arch of light stretching over the city, always there and never making a sound. Sunsets would last for hours, lighting up the bottom of the rings with bright, fiery colors. It would never be truly dark at night again. The rings would act like a giant mirror, reflecting sunlight back down to Earth. This would create a soft, silvery glow called ringshine, which would be about as bright as a full moon. It would be like living in a world of endless twilight. This world would be incredibly beautiful, but that beauty would have a dark side. Every single piece of our modern world that depends on space is now in catastrophic danger. The problem of space junk around Earth is now an extreme and out-of-control chain reaction. The space in our orbit, which used to be safe and open, has become a dangerous and destructive mess. It's like a high-speed field of tracks made of rock and ice. There are billions of pieces of debris, ranging from tiny dust particles to rocks as big as a city bus. All of them are moving at an incredible 17,000 miles per hour. This isn't just a messy area. It's like a constant, powerful shotgun blast in space. That will go on forever. Your GPS and global communication systems would be gone. Exploring space would become a nearly impossible dream. And launching anything into orbit would be a deadly risk. We would be trapped on our own beautiful planet, fenced in by the rings of junk we created. The rings would cause another huge problem: shadows. They would cast giant moving shadows on the Earth. These shadows would be big enough to cover and cool down entire continents. Imagine a city like Chicago suddenly dropping 10 to 15 degrees for 3 hours in the middle of a summer afternoon as the ring shadow passes over. It would trigger bizarre weather patterns and totally rewrite the rules for farming and ecosystems. But here's the most surprising part you probably didn't expect. The rings wouldn't only be up in the sky. They would also be down here on Earth. On Saturn, scientists call this ring rain. On Earth, it would be a constant shower of tiny space rocks. Most of these would burn up in the atmosphere, filling the sky with a never-ending meteor shower. It would be beautiful, but that space dust would build up everywhere on the surface, over thousands of years. This dust could change the air we breathe and the water in our oceans, possibly even affecting our health. So the rings wouldn't just be a pretty view. They would actively change our planet's environment. So how would this change us in a deeper way? Let's set aside technology and think about how this would affect our culture, our stories, and what we believe. Throughout all of history, people have shared a deep fear of the dark. But if the night sky was always glowing, would we still have that fear? Our oldest myths and stories are all about the sun and the moon. With rings, our myths would be about them instead. We might tell stories about a great arch across the sky, calling it the River of Stars or the Sky Serpent. In the past, sailors used the stars to find their way across oceans. On a world with rings, people would use them as a giant, permanent map in the sky. The rings would be our clock, calendar, and compass. They would become a central part of our language, our art, and our understanding of the world. It makes you wonder, would our minds work so differently that we would almost be a totally different species? So how would Earth get these rings? Rings are always formed in a violent event. The most likely cause would be a moon that was destroyed. Imagine a moon, maybe half the size of our current one, that drifted too close to Earth. It would have crossed an invisible boundary in space called the Roche limit. This is the point where a planet's gravity becomes so strong that it can pull a smaller object, like a moon, completely apart. Once the moon crossed that invisible line, Earth's gravity would be much stronger than the moon's own gravity. Our planet would win the cosmic tug-of-war and tear the moon apart, crushing it into trillions of pieces over millions of years. These leftover pieces, the remains of a destroyed moon, would spread out to form the rings. So that beautiful arc in our sky, it's basically a tombstone. A pretty intense thought, isn't it? So we have a world of amazing beauty that also keeps us trapped. Our sky is always softly lit by the remains of a shattered moon, some mix of something beautiful and something terrible. A true paradox, isn't it? So I have to ask you, would it be worth it? Would that incredible, shared view in our sky make us better people? Or bring us closer together? Or would the problems the rings create just be too much to handle? Let me know what you think in the comments. This stuff is exactly why I love science. Lets us visit worlds that never existed. And if you enjoyed this trip, hit that like button and subscribe for more cosmic what-ifs. What should we tackle next? What if Mars was terraformed? What if Jupiter was a star? You tell me. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.